If you're not using AI in your lead generation and website form, you're leaving a massive opportunity on the table. In today's video, I'm going to teach you a system to use GPT with your lead generation and forms responses so you can double X your efficiency. We're now in Google Sheets. This is the responses that we could get from any form, right? A lead generation form where we are getting name, the email, what would they build, personal website, an e-commerce, directory website, all these kind of things. And how big is that team? Before we start, we need to install GPT-4 Sheets. I will provide to you a link in the comments below. What you want is install it for your workspace. Once you've installed it, then you can go into the extension tab on your Google Sheets and GPT-4 Sheets and Doc and set the API key. What you want to do there is set up your OpenAI API key. How you do this, I've created a video to actually create your Open API key if you don't know how to do that. You just paste it there and then save as an API key. Once you've done that, then now your Open API key is within the Google Sheet itself. It's a GPT script, but to activate it, you say launch and enable functions. So now we are launching and enabling the GPT function within the tab. From now on, I can go and say equal GPT, and then now we're seeing GPT as a formula. Any Google Sheet doesn't naturally have GPT as a formula. It's basically calling a function that was created with the extension. Once we have done that, then we can open the brackets. So as you can see, there's a lot of different things that we can create with GPT functions here. We only are mainly going to look into the basic GPT one because we can do a lot of it. And I just want to open your mind about what is feasible there. We can say GPT prompt, then the value, temperature, max token, model. The prompt is write a tagline for XYZ. Now use the value as part of the prompt that you just mentioned. So for example, the personal website, right? So I can say John, like what is that person's name? John. So the value would be John here. And then as I scroll, it will be Jane, Michael, etc. The temperature is how creative you want to be. The closest you go to 1, it's creative. The closest to 0, then it becomes more factual, more precise. The max token is how many token do I want to use in the response. So what that means is basically like how much text do I want back and to use. It's also related to money. Most of the time in the Google Sheet, you don't want a lot of text, so it's fine. And then the model we're going to use. I do recommend to use GPT 3.5 because you'll see as you're going to use this, every single time it's calling the data, it's using tokens. So it can end up with a lot of money, and GPT-4 is 30 times more expensive, I think, than GPT 3.5. From the start, we have first names. And often in forms, what I see is, what is your gender? Well, instead of asking it, because we know that lead forms or any form, the more data you request, the more you actually gonna have a lower conversion rate or lower sign-up rate through this form. We're gonna add gender. How do we ask a formula to get the gender? Well, what we would want to do is say GPT, and the prompt would be tag the gender of the person based on the name we did. If you're not sure, say neutral. The value we're going to provide is the value of John. And then we're going to say temperature. Well, I want it to as close to possible to 0, so 0.1. And then the max token 100 is way too many, but it's fine. Then we're going to say GPT 3.5 turbo. All right, now you said John is a male. Fantastic. Dragging this all the way down. Most of these names are female, male, but we can see here there's a neutral and it's for Chris. Chris could be Christine, Christopher, etc. So this is neutral. We got all our lead gen to know whether we're male and female. So it's specifically useful if you're writing in French or different languages where male or female really affect how you're going to write. If I want to change just something, I need to go back here and change some of the results. What I like to do is I like to take this specific prompt and put it just above, right? Just right there. And then what I do is instead of hard coding it within the formula, I just call that cell. Exactly the same thing. However, the advantage for this is if I lock in these formulas, so this one wouldn't move towards the bottom and John would always stay John, so I won't move that anywhere else. That means I can scroll it down and the formula still select the right things, but I can also click it on the right, paste it right, and now I would use a new prompt, which is exactly what we're going to do. In this new prompt, we're going to say, use the most relevant top 3 tags with highest probability, let's say. It's not ideal, but okay. Now, instead of using John, what I want is the portfolio, right? I want to understand really fast and at scale what other tags are related to what they want to build. So I'm going to use D3, portfolio, resume, blog. Okay. Now, if I scroll all the way down, mobile app development, audience engagement, marketing, lead generation, product, okay, membership site, etc. So first, another thing we're going to add is we're going to say comma separated. Just adding this suddenly will make everything comma separated, which is exactly what we want. Booking, scheduling, reservation, a booking system, etc. So potentially here, instead of having that, what we could say is use the most relevant top tag about what they want to build. Possible tags are, I'm just going to create a new one. Okay, we just made this one, so we might as well just use it new here. The possible tags would be website, SaaS, mobile app, other. Now I'm going to paste this here. It didn't really listen well. So we're going to say select only one and the most relevant tag about what they want to build. Order with website, mobile app, website. Chatbot is it's a SaaS other, SaaS website, other. I think the other is probably something that we can add at the end, select only one. There we go. I think it's because I said one as a number rather than word, right? Word one. Now, suddenly what you can do is you can filter out between, oh, are people asking me to build a website or are they asking me to build a mobile app? Another thing we could try is complexity. Based on what the user wants to build, evaluate to the best of your ability the complexity it will take to make. From 1 to 3. 1 being the least complex and 3 and 5 the highest. Let's change that to 5. Wow, so it's telling you a lot of different things and it's telling you how to use it, etc. What I would want is only provide a number, no explanation. So another thing you can do obviously here is you could potentially limit the token anyway to 10, right? Or even like 5, 2. All right, now that we've done this, we're gonna filter all around, but one thing to be aware of is before we start changing things, as soon as you're going to change something, even if you go back, you're recreating 3 calls. So imagine you have 1,000 forms and you just change, like create just a new column. Now I'm going to do it just for the purpose. Suddenly all my calls to OpenAI are being remade, which means every single time you're paying again the API call, right? So you got to be very, very, very careful when you do this. The best way to fix that is before to move on, you're going to say GPT for sheet, replace GPT formulas with values in entire sheet. Now, all of these values, as you can see, have just become values rather than formulas. So if I delete this again, nothing's changing. So now this is just data. And that is also one of the reasons I love to have these prompts here is because you can change all the values, but you still have the prompts at the top. So if you want to reuse it later on, you can just do the formula and that will work as it worked before. Now, one of the key things is the lead gen, right? So you potentially want to respond with an email. So what would your email say? It's not anymore a prompt that is just based on what I want OpenAI to do, right? With this, I actually want to create based on the data on the left. So what I like to do is I call this a pre-prompt email. The pre-prompt is basically giving information based on the line. So I'm going to say Jane wants to build space, and then I'm going to add an e-commerce store. And then I'm going to say tagged as and then website with the complexity of and then 4 and then out of 5. All right. So Jane wants to build an e-commerce tagged as a website within the complexity of 4.5. I could potentially change it into H3 at a complexity of what she wants to build is and what she wants to build. Cool. So now we're giving context. We're giving Jane wants to build a website and a complexity of 4 out of 5, and we're then saying what she wants to build. In the email then, we can say, write an email back to the user telling them how complex we believe it is to build, mention some of the features that they need to provide us a brief with, ask them for the budget. GPT prompt is this one, the value is this text, and we're gonna say temperature. Now we can finally be more creative. Let's go 0.7 max token. I don't want this to be too long, but let's keep it there. GPT 3.5 turbo. Dear Jane, thank you for considering our services for building your website. After reviewing your requirements, we believe that the complexity level of your project is quite high, around 4 out of 5. So here there's no context, but you could always also provide context of what a 4 means, right? Then creating an e-commerce store. So wait, let's double check what she wanted. Yeah, e-commerce store that can sell your products or services online involves several intricate features such as product categorization, inventory, management, etc. To proceed further, we would require a detailed brief from you, including all the essential features that you want to incorporate into your website. This will help us understand your requirements better and provide you with an accurate estimate at the time and cost involved. Moreover, we would also like to know your budget for the project can work within constraint and provide. Once you've done that, what you can do is you can use NaN or Make or Zapier and send those emails automatically back to this email and to this Jane and the thousands of people that have responded to your lead form. If you like building product with AI, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions regarding this build, just drop a comment below and I'll try to answer it.